welcome back to my channel. I'm so glad you're here. I know it's been a while, but I only like to make videos when I feel like I have something to share that you guys might get out of it. Some different activities that I have done within my room where I can give ideas and different things that maybe I would change about them to make it work better in your classroom, and where you can share where you might have some ideas of how you would do it in your classroom. So it is our week before Christmas break, and we are almost at the end of it. And I'm just going to share some activities that we have been doing this week and what we are going to continue to do tomorrow. And I will have different pictures and videos and examples of that for you to see as we go throughout the video. So join me for this. The first activity I'm going to tell you about is called Criminal Elf. What this is the students are given a story about Santa being punched in the nose by this bad elf, and the little girl who was sitting on his lap is giving her personal account to what happened. And so they listen to that personal account, or they can read it, and they take notes about his description, physical description. And then they take those notes and they draw their elf that they are seeing from these descriptions. And so that was a lot of fun. What we did next was then we took that and we had a lesson about perspective and how to write from a different character's perspective. And so then they had to write about what happened from the criminal elf's perspective. And so I had some that just kind of rewrote the story using I instead, so understanding that the point of view had to be written differently. But I did have a few kids that really understood the assignment and really ran with it and took it to another level. And so that was a lot of fun. They really enjoyed that one. The next thing that we did was a STEM challenge, and it was a brown bag Christmas tree challenge. And so they had to use the brown paper bag to create a Christmas tree. They could use whatever supplies that I had put in the bag to create the Christmas tree. The only thing was they had to use the brown paper bag in a significant way. And so they really enjoyed that one. It was interesting seeing the ways that they would come up with different ways to create the Christmas tree. The next activity that we did was the Geo Bread project, and this is an oldie that I believe may have come from Mailbox. I'm showing my age right now, so if you're older and you know what that is, it was like a teacher magazine subscription, and you would get like this magazine each month, and it would have all these different cool, fun ideas to teach different topics. So in order to complete the GeoBird project, I used Sign Up Genius and created a list of different items that we would need in order to complete it. Like, things are crazy expensive right now in this world, but I still wanted to do this project if I could get enough donations, because it's like, it's that one thing that you always remember. So at my time, I remember doing paper mache. Like, I used to think that was so cool. So this is that project that kids always remember doing. And a lot of kids don't get to do gingerbread houses with their families and stuff. So it's a way that they can do it. So how we do that is we really just use it as like a vocabulary review, and we make sure that they understand that different vocabulary, and they have to have those different things within the planning of their project. So, you know, they get grid paper that I give them, and we talk about the different geometry terms and what needs to be within their planning project. And so they start to plan that. And when they think they have everything, then they come up and we go through, and I'm like, show me 4 right angles within your project, and show me where you might find an obtuse angle in your project. And so they have to go through each thing. And if they don't have it, they have to go back and they have to plan it within their project. And so that was great. So I was able to get some amazing parents. A lot of my parents donated the different things in order to do that, because let's be honest, we're not eating it. Like, I did have a lot of candy left over that I could use for prizes and stuff this week when we were playing different bingo games and stuff like that. So that was nice as well. But the parents did pitch in to help me to be able to do that, because everything's expensive right now, and Sign Up Genius is a great way to get that. Last year I did not do it through Sign Up Genius, and I just asked parents for donations, which was great. I had so much, but that was the problem. There was so much wasted things. Like, I was sending things back home, and it was too much. And so if you do something like this, I encourage you to definitely come up with a way of getting exactly what you need, so you don't have overabundance and it's not wasteful in money as well. The next activity that we did this week would be the Santa sleigh, a zip line that they did. So it was, they had to create Santa's sleigh, and I had a zip line going from like my chalkboard down to a table. Well, I have to rethink that next year, because it would hit the table, and of course, a lot of times the candy fell out. So the kids were complaining about that. Like, it doesn't matter, it's always gonna fall out. But if they did design it correctly, it wouldn't fall out. So I had one group that was able to design that correctly, where the candy was not falling out. So that was great. But they did complain about that a little bit, but that was a fun project to do. They liked the whole zip line aspect to it as well. The next one that I love doing every year, and I can't remember, and most of this comes from Teachers Pay Teachers, except the Geobread house, but it was a letter to Santa, and they write it for me. So it's what my teacher wants for Christmas. And so just seeing, I give them one example, and I tell them something that I truly want for Christmas. They have to use what they know about me, based on them getting to know me. And so it's always fun to see what they come up with. Some of the things that they came up with. I have been getting onto them about their use of pencils and not returning them. And like, we are going through pencils with this class like crazy, and I haven't really had that problem in a long time. So a lot of them put pencils on there because I have been going nuts about that. I had some put a teacher shirt. I do a lot of teacher t-shirts, and they always like to read them and see a lot of, you know, our puns or whatever. And so they really enjoy that. They know how much I love coffee, so there's a lot of coffee mugs in here. I had one put a new stove, and I was like, why do I need a new stove? And he's like, because you talk all the time about how much you love to cook, so I thought you might need a new stove. And so it's just fun to see how much they truly are paying attention. So it was just a whole lot of fun to see if they're really paying attention. And then they write the letter to Santa on what I need. So, dear Santa, I think Mrs. Hooper has been good, and this is what she needs. And they give reasons why they think that I need those things. So that was a lot of fun. Another STEM activity that we did this week is called Cracking the Classroom Code, Saving Santa's Sleigh. And so this is an actual like escape room. And this is truly more of an escape room. And the end project that they have to do is to create a sleigh and a ramp. So this one was so much fun. It did take me a while to set it up, but now that I have it all done, it won't take that long. So I will say that about it. There's some setup to it for sure, because you have these different envelopes, and what they loved about it is you hide their clues within your classroom, and so they have to find those clues, and they just thought that was so much fun. I can say that it's not difficult for fifth graders. That was nice because, I want it to be fun on Christmas week, but they still are doing things and using their brains. So they still had some thinking to do. There were some puzzles, there was some reading, and what they realized is if they didn't read the cards well, that made it difficult. And so everything was there that they needed as long as they were paying attention. That was a fun one. They did say at the end, because this was my first year ever trying that one, and they have to create a ramp, and so I didn't give them enough cardboard to do that. So they wish they would have had more cardboard, a little bit more materials to do the STEM challenge at the end. But otherwise, they seem to really enjoy that game. We did was the Christmas paper plate challenge or game, I guess. If you search, I think it is just Christmas paper plate challenge or game. I can't remember, but if you search that, you will find it. But, you take a basic white paper plate and put it on your head, and you're given directions on what to draw. So like the first one is, draw a floor on your paper plate. And then you have to draw like a Christmas tree, and then you have to add different things. And then they get points for the different things that they did well. And so that was fun. I will say that, It was a hot mess. Like, they were cracking themselves up when they looked at their drawing. A lot of them, they were trying to do points. And I'm like, if your Christmas tree is touching your floor, and they're like, I don't even know where my Christmas tree is, because nothing they drew looked like a Christmas tree. So that was fun. We had a lot of laughs with that one. Got a little bit loud, but it was a good time. The next activity that we did this week was the candy cane grabber. And so they had to create something that was going to grab candy canes, and they had 30 seconds to see how many they could grab. I like this one when they're creating. I don't like it when it's time to test it out, because I have to be more specific with instructions, and I had to write that down on my paper for next year when I do it again. And I guess I never really thought about it. The picture in the STEM activity that I have, it shows like the candy canes in a cup. And like this year, I'm like, why am I not just laying them on the ground? Because I give them a popsicle stick, and they just use the popsicle stick to take them out. And I'm like, you didn't create. But I have to talk to them how they didn't really create anything. You're just using one of the items. And for some reason, that's so hard for them to understand. This is the second year that I did that, and it was the same issue again. And I didn't remember to have that conversation with them. So I think next year I'm gonna like lay them on the floor, and they have to pick it up in some way. I don't know. I'm okay with them figuring out how to make a hook to get them, but like once they saw somebody else do it in a similar way, like they would just tape their things together so that it was a strong wand or whatever. And so I need to figure out a way to have more specific instructions for that one, because it's an easy one to do. It doesn't require a lot of materials, but there has to be more specific instructions to go with that. And they also said, like, if it breaks, they should be disqualified, instead of, because like one had something connected to like a straw, I think, or the popsicle stick, and whatever it was broke off. So then they just used the straw or the popsicle stick to just take them out. And so like some people were just like, knocking them out of the cup. And so there just has to be more specific instructions. But when they're creating, they're really creative with that part. But when it doesn't work, they just end up using a piece of it to get them out. And so I have to come up with a way to word that a little bit better. The last STEM project that we did this week is called the Peppermint Challenge. And their goal is to use the different materials that I give them, and they have to build the tallest, strongest tower with a platform at the top that will be able to support 3 peppermint candies that are stacked on top of each other without falling over. And so whoever gets the tallest tower that supports those 3 peppermints, they are the winners. Anything that the kids participated in, but at our school, the day before our Christmas break, we have a staff volleyball game, and they play it up. So we have, introductions of the different teams, and they go around and they slap hands, and we have a green team and a red team, and you get all decked out in your colors, and we get hyped up, and then we sing Christmas songs in the gym together as a school. And so it's just a lot of fun. So here's a little bit of that.